Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the last and final part to the fic. Please listen to what I cannot say out loud. This is Chapter 3, entitled The Voice They Heard. Shouta and Hizashi are blocks away, but they can see the smoke rising into the air, hear the explosions echoing in the distance. They both look over in concern as the smoke billows up into the sky. Shouta goes to suggest that they check it out, before a knife of red-hot pain slices through his skull with fluidity, as if through butter. Shock follows on its heels like a faithful dog. "It's Kacchan!" He hears Midoriya's voice clearer than he ever has. He feels his eyes widen as he sees a flash of blonde hair and red eyes, surrounded by what appears to be a green slime. So this is Kacchan, Shouta thinks. Any anger is quickly replaced by concern, a mix of both his and Midoriya's. The blonde boy looks scared. The flashes don't stop there. Shouta isn't sure if it's how close he is to the green-haired boy or just the sheer power of the boy's emotions, but the thoughts and images keep coming. Shouta groans as it feels like his head is being split open. Kacchan is dying. Kacchan is dying. Why aren't they saving him? Shouta gets flashes of heroes. Some he recognizes, some he doesn't. They each stand by, seemingly unsure how to proceed. Even through the pain, Shouta grinds his teeth at their inaction. Will they really just sit there and watch a boy be murdered right in front of them? Hizashi is standing at Shouta's side, rubbing his back soothingly, knowing at this point that they must be simply waiting for the green-haired boy to calm down, that he won't be able to get any answers from Shouta while he's in this state. He frowns as he notices Shouta's hands clenching in anger. Despite it all, Shouta can still register his husband's unease and curiosity even as more images flash by him. "I have to save him. I can't just do nothing. I have to save him. Go for the eyes." Shouta sees a bright yellow backpack being whipped in front of the boy. It hits the villain in the eye, and the green slime rears back, screaming in pain, and releasing the blonde boy just long enough for him to gulp in a lungful of air. He can feel the problem child's relief, and yet just as quickly it snaps back to dread, like the rubber elastic of a brand new hair tie. The slime pulls the blonde back in. "It's not enough. I'm not enough. We're going to die." "No, kid!" Shouta can't help but yell out as he tries to head in that direction. Even as he is effectively blinded, vision replaced by someone else's, even as emotions that do not belong to him jackhammer through his skull. Mike suddenly pulls him back sharply, with a quirk-enhanced yelp of, "Show!" He feels a rush of air swoosh by as his vision becomes his own, and he realizes he just nearly walked into traffic. He has little time to care. His heart beats quickly in his chest, threatening to drown out everything else. "Zashi, we have to go. He's in danger. The kid is going to die." Mike's eyes widen at the knowledge, and Shouta tries to tug him forward, but is once again interrupted as another thought cuts through him. "It's not enough. We're both going to die. I couldn't even save one person. I couldn't even save myself. Kacchan will die because I'm useless." As images flash through Shota's head, he tries not to think how these may be the last things that boy ever sees. That they may even be the last thought the boy ever thinks. He doesn't want the kid to die, thinking such thoughts about himself. He tries to pull Hizashi along, but his husband tugs him back. "Sho, you can't travel over rooftops like this. You already almost got hit by a car," Zashi yells out, exasperated and afraid. "We can't just stay here, Zashi. He needs us," Shouta pleads with his husband. Zashi regards him for a moment, then gives him a decisive nod. However, before the blonde can formulate a plan of action, relief floods through Shouta like a mighty wave. He slumps with it before he even registers what's causing it. It pulls him to the ground like weighted cuffs as exhaustion floods him. "All Might, he saved us." Midoriya's voice sobs with relief. "Kacchan is okay." He sees a flash of the symbol of peace's smile, and feels the conflicted feelings Midoriya now holds for the man. The sadness, the bitter resentment, the lingering hero worship and relief that he had saved Kacchan. He can almost feel Midoriya shake the negative emotions off like a wet dog, trying to force himself to focus on the gratitude. Shouta breathes deeply as his head becomes his own once more. The emotions settle back down to his usual controlled standards, waving their tail lazily like a cat who could strike out at any moment. Shouta slumps to the ground, leaning against one of the barriers on the side of the road, and Hizashi follows without question. The blonde gives Shouta a worried look and a questioning eyebrow, clearly expecting the worst. It's then Shouta remembers Hizashi can't see everything he just witnessed, and how Shouta slumping to the ground could lead to the wrong conclusions. "He's alive," He's safe, Shouta breathes out with a grumble. He has sat on so many floors today it's kind of unreal. He makes a mental note to wash his jumpsuit, well, when this is all over. Hizashi's shoulders slump, mirroring Shota's relief. It's kind of amazing how attached they both are to a boy they never met. Not really, anyway. Shouta guesses it would be hard to feel anything someone else does and not get attached. As for Hizashi, he has always been rather empathetic. Shouta frowns at the random sidebar thoughts, a sure sign he is becoming truly exhausted. What happened, Sho? Hizashi finally gets the courage to ask his exhausted husband. Shouta drags a tired hand down his face as he explains everything that happened in the last 5 minutes or so. Hizashi can feel his sympathetic frown only growing as he does. Honestly, Hizashi, 3 attacks in like 3 days. How is that even possible? Shouta grumbles. Are we sure being a problem child isn't his quirk? Shouta continues, too tired to even try to pretend to mask the fondness that bleeds through. Hizashi rolls his eyes at him, but continues nonetheless. Should we just continue to wait here, then? He is bound to head home after getting checked out, right? Shouta nods, laying his head on Zashi's shoulder, for once not caring about PDA, before he frowns a bit. Hizashi can tell instantly that the man is seeing something he can't. What's wrong, Sho? They are yelling at him, getting onto him for saving that boy, Shouta says, his face darkening with impending storm clouds. Who is? Everyone. The heroes who did nothing. The symbol of peace telling him how reckless it was for him to endanger himself when he has no quirk. The same symbol, I might add, that recklessly destroyed the kiddo's dreams and left him on a rooftop. And yet they praised that Kacchan kid who was blowing everything up. Shouta grits out, the muscle in his jaw jumping with each thing he lists. Hizashi frowns. Little listener can't catch a break today, can he? If anything, Shouta frowns harder. Based off of his thoughts, I don't think he has been able to catch a break for much longer than just today. They both sit in silence for a few moments, silently considering what all this means. Hizashi feels his heart twist for the kid. He wants nothing more than to swoop him up, but he has to remind himself the kid has a family. A mother, at least, and that would technically be kidnapping. He's headed this way. Shouta pipes up suddenly before cutting off with an indignant scoff, pulling his head off Hizashi's shoulder. The blonde brat just yelled at him for saving his life. What the fuck is this kid's problem? Shota's face pales, the blood draining away faster than Hizashi thought possible. He is up on his feet in an instant, and Hizashi follows him, dread worrying its way into Hizashi's chest at the face Sho is making. Sho? What is it? I thought we would wait here for him. I don't think he's headed here anymore. He's headed for a roof. Suddenly, Shouta is taking off, yelling behind him for Mike to stay here in case the boy does head this way. The man is leaping up the nearest building before Hizashi can protest that it's still not safe to be swinging around like that when his vision could cut out any moment. But then Shota's words suddenly click in Zashi's brain, and any thought of stopping him is dropped. All Hizashi can do is worry and hope his husband makes it on time, as he sees the man's retreating back in the distance. Shouta leaps across rooftops, timing the swing of his capture scarf to the flashes of vision he is permitted as he races towards the smoke. He doesn't know where the kid is going, but he knows where he was, and that's a start. It had been heartbreaking listening to all those people yell at the kid. Sure, the kid had been reckless. It was definitely something that could be worked on. Everyone else, however, had done nothing. Would have just let the blonde kid die. Shouta is pretty sure Kacchan is the one that told the green bean to jump off a roof just earlier today, and yet the kid did not hesitate to save him. It had been harder still, feeling the excitement rot into anxiety. Putrid and decaying as the adults had chewed the boy out. Hearing how hard the boy had tried to stay positive, tried to forgive or justify others' behavior towards him. Then this Kacchan character had caught up to the problem child on his way home and yelled at him even more. It was like Shouta could feel the string snap, the vibrations through the air as the kid thought, I saved him. Why are they so angry I saved him? What's the point? There isn't one. I saved him, but I will always be quirkless first. This realization seemed to suck all the positive emotions out of Midoriya like juice through a straw. All the fight. All the hope. I'm so tired. Maybe it's a sign? I'm so tired and no one wants me here. Maybe I should just give up. Shouta was on his feet in an instant. He doesn't like that. He could feel when the boy went from a maybe to forming a plan. Shit, he doesn't like that at all. Midoriya wasn't going to wait or plan it. He didn't want to be dissuaded again. He was going to do it now. Shit, kid, no, Shouta thought as he yelled to Hizashi to stay here before taking off over the roofs. He felt confusion lace through the kid and realized he had heard Shota's thoughts. Don't do it. Think about your mom, Shouta thought desperately, remembering the last time the kid had snapped out of it. This proved to be a mistake, Shouta realized as memories flashed through his head. His mom didn't physically hurt him, like others, but his mom also wasn't ever around. Always out, always leaving him alone. If he was gone, then she could enjoy her own home. He could feel Midoriya clamp down and ignore what he thought was his own brain trying to convince him not to do this. Could feel the way the kid was clamping down on any feelings and letting numbness soak through his veins. Shit, Shouta grumbled as he continued to jump and roll from one rooftop to the next. He continues to see flashes of memories as the kid contemplates all his reasons to go, and Shota's scarf misses the next ledge. He hits the roof hard and rolls across the rough surface with an oof. He's quick to his feet and taking off again as he slides into the shopping center where it looks like the actual attacks took place. Shouta breathes hard as he scans the crowd of heroes still cleaning up and All Might still trying unsuccessfully to get away from reporters. Then he notices the blonde from before, the Kacchan kid. He must have come back this way to no doubt finish giving his statement or get his health checked. Meanwhile, the green-haired boy whose spirit the blonde had just crushed was nowhere to be found. Shouta rushes over to the angry blonde. Where did Midoriya go? He questions without preamble. Huh? Why the fuck do you want to know about Deku? The kid yells back. Shouta grits his teeth, trying to remember that he is a hero, and despite what he knows about this kid, it is frowned upon to punch children in the teeth. He is in danger. Now tell me which way he went. The blonde scoffs at him, and Shouta grits his teeth harder. Stupid fucking nerd can't go 5 minutes without being in danger. Now he tries to save others and wants to be a hero. Yeah, fucking right, the blonde yells with a complicated expression on his face. Shouta is getting frustrated. He doesn't have a lot of time. He can no longer hear the kid's thoughts. He had felt the numbness take over, leaving the boy unfeeling, disassociating, no doubt. Never a good sign, and it makes finding him all the more difficult. In an uncharacteristic show of impatience, Shouta grabs the kid by the collar of his shirt. He can't punch the kid in the teeth, but no one said he can't scare him a little. The other heroes in the area gasp. Shouta vaguely registers the press had finally left at some point, but he would have done this regardless. The blonde looks shocked, and then flips to angry as he takes in the hand wrapped in his collar. Oi! Shouta cuts off the blonde before he can even start. That nerd, Shouta stresses venomously, is going to hurt himself, do you understand me? Shouta shakes the kid slightly, trying to get him to understand the urgency of the situation. Red eyes stare back at Shouta in shock. More of that complicated emotion pulling around the edges. He looks like he's having trouble processing Shota's words. Rather, it looks like he is desperately trying to think of any other way those words could be taken. Any other meaning they can have besides the one they both know Shouta intends. He knows despite what he has seen of the blonde, he is just a kid. Someone had probably failed this boy to let him get this way. Yet right now he doesn't have time for kid gloves. He can't soften the meaning when a life is on the line. That kid is going to kill himself if I don't find him. Do you understand? He's going to throw himself off a roof, so I swear to God you better tell me what direction he left in right now, Shouta growls. The blonde in front of him looks lost, like he only just realized that actions and words have consequences, that they can hurt someone, they can push them to the edge, and sometimes can push them to jump off. Deku wouldn't. He never. I didn't mean it. The boy's voice, once loud and confident, sounds soft and broken as he realizes the true weight of his actions. Shouta softens just a bit despite himself, but he knows that this is the wake-up call this kid might need. So he keeps his voice cold and firm. Yeah, well, you better hope you get a chance to tell him that. Which way, kid? The blonde points with a shaky finger toward the route Midoriya would have taken to walk home. Shouta releases his grip on the kid and spins around to run in that direction. He happens to lock eyes with All Might, who had been watching on with concern from the moment Shouta had grabbed the boy by his shirt. His wide eyes tell Shouta he heard everything, that he has also realized the part he has played in all this. Shouta shoots the symbol of peace, the deadliest glare he can manage, before taking off in the direction the explosive kid had pointed. He thinks he sees All Might flinch out of the corner of his eye, but he doesn't have time to stick around and find out. Shouta swings desperately from roof to roof in search of the boy, scanning the area for tall buildings. He's almost shocked as he starts to pick up bits of thought from Midoriya. He isn't feeling any emotions, however, so the kid must still be disassociating. It must be proximity, then. I must be getting closer to him, Shouta thinks triumphantly, pushing himself to move even faster, practically flying through the air. Shouta scans the sky. He knows the boy is headed in this direction. He knows he would be looking for a tall building. The problem is there are too many in the area. He doesn't see any figures atop the ones he can see, and that's relieving and terrifying all at once. It would just be better for everyone if I gave up. The kid's thoughts cycle through Shota's brain, along with an image of looking up at a tall, maroon building. Shouta feels dread course through him, and yet relief as he recognizes the building just a block or two away in the distance. Shouta pushes himself to go even faster. He can feel himself tiring, but he forces himself to ignore it, refuses to slow down even a smidge. The streets and alleyways and passerbys blur underneath him in the setting sun. Another shock of pain sweeps through Shouta, and he stumbles across one of the rooftops. Images flash by of the kid's small hands pushing a cream door open to reveal a windy rooftop. The sun is melting in the sky and coloring the cloud like a dreamsicle beverage. In any other moment, it would be beautiful, but Shouta only feels desperation and wild, unchecked fear as he launches back to his feet and keeps going. For once, those emotions are Shota's own, and he can feel the kid question them with a detached sort of regard. Don't do it, kid, Shouta thinks at the boy. He can tell the boy heard him, but everything from the boy is still so numb. His words are disregarded. So while he heard him, he isn't listening to Shouta. The maroon building is just a block away. The closer he gets, the more flashes he gets of what the kid is seeing. Flashes as the boy removes his backpack, takes off his bright red shoes. He can feel the boy decide not to write a note, feel him think that no one would care to read it. Sees tan toes creep over the edge and the tall drop below them. He isn't going to make it on time. Shouta practically screams both out loud and in his head over the kid's thoughts, pleading with him not to move, not to do this as images and thoughts and memories of abuse flood back towards Shouta in turn. Shouta refuses to stumble as he half-blindly makes his way closer to the building. It's just on the other side of the street now. He sees all the kids who have ever put this beautiful boy down. Sees his mom ignore him and the desperate need the kid had for her acknowledgement. He sees the moment the doctor told the boy he was quirkless, diagnosed him like it was some sort of disease. Shouta screams over it all. Kid, stop! Midoriya! Izuku, please! I care! People care! Hizashi cares! Let us help! There are not enough grips for Shouta to use his scarf to scale the building, so he throws open the cream door at the foot and launches himself up the stairs, taking them 4 to 6 at a time. He uses his scarf to propel his momentum. He throws open the cream door at the top of the large crash just in time to see a blur of green tip over the edge. No! He hears himself scream out loud as he throws himself forward and his scarf over the ledge. There is a moment where everything is suspended, where Shouta can see his scarf spanning out for the boy. A moment where Izuku is falling through the air, green waves covering his closed eyes. It's like everything freezes. Shouta has enough time to think the scarf won't get there in time before it snakes around the boy's waist and pulls taut. He can hear the oof the kid no doubt lets out from the sudden stop in momentum. It's drowned in the wind, but he can imagine it. He is sure the kid will have bruises from the scarf similar to those one would see from a seatbelt in an auto collision. Shouta can't find any guilt, however. Only ice-cold relief floods through him as he hoists the visibly shocked boy back over the ledge of the roof and into his arms as he falls to the ground with the green bundle. He can feel the kid's confusion, both at Shota's relief and why he can tell Shota's relieved, not to mention why the strange man is hugging him. But then everything else seems to catch up with the kid. All the things he had pushed down and numbed on his journey over here. A cacophony of feelings and noise and memories mixing so fast it almost whites out Shota's vision. Fear, sadness, self-hatred, guilt, comfort from the hug, from the stranger. Because no one hugs him. It's not said in words, but rather an impression of those feelings. Shota's heart twists painfully at the last thought, and he hugs the boy tighter, desperate to make up for the lack of physical affection the boy got, even if Shouta isn't usually so keen on it himself. Shouta is surprised he can't hear a litany of the boy's thoughts, but then he realizes the kid is too overwhelmed to have any. Shouta pulls the kid tighter to his chest, only then realizing the wet tracks down the older man's own face. He is also crying, this time a mix of the boy and his own volition, as he rubs soothing circles into the boy's back and rocks them back and forth. He thinks reassuring thoughts and feelings and whispers words of comfort, tells him out loud that it's okay, thinks that you are not alone, and knows the boy hears them both. Shouta doesn't know how long they sit like that, but he notices as the boy's emotions become hazier and hazier. Suddenly, they fade out altogether. Shouta panics the moment at the sudden silence in his head, already so used to the boy's presence there. When he looks down, he notices the problem child has merely passed out, the toll of the day finally forcing the kid to rest. Shouta is honestly tempted to nap, right there with the kid, having experienced more overwhelming emotions today than he has in the last 5 years. However, he wants to get the kid as far away from the roof as he can, and he knows Hizashi is no doubt waiting worriedly for him. Shouta drags himself to his feet with a groan, keeping the kid safely in his arms. He wraps a scarf around the boy and himself, securing him. Then he grabs the boy's things, slips his shoes back on, and turns around and heads back down the stairs. He doesn't want to risk hurting the kid or scaring him even by jumping across rooftops, if he was to wake up mid-fall, especially after the events that just happened. He walks through the streets in the dying sun as he makes his way back towards Hizashi. This kid is his now. No way is he sending him back to literally anything he had seen today. Hopefully, Hizashi is okay with the kid, because respectfully, try to pry the kid from his cold, dead fingers. But he knows Hizashi has a bleeding heart, even more so than Sho, and he could tell the man was just as attached to the kid even without the benefit of being able to hear the kid's thoughts and feelings all day. He should probably be worried about how to take care of a kid, but honestly, he has had cats. It can't be that different. Food, water, therapy for sure. He whips out his phone as he calls his husband. They have a lot of work to do. They are going to make sure this kid lives, that this kid is loved, that if he wants to be a hero, they help train him to get there. Pulling the kid off the roof hasn't saved him. Not yet. But Shouta and Hizashi won't stop till they have. That's what heroes do. And they plan to be this kid's hero, till he can be his own. All right, listeners, this concludes the last and final part to Please Listen to What I Cannot Say Out Loud. I hope you all enjoyed this fic. It's one of the earliest ones that I had read in this fandom, so it's kind of stuck with me ever since then. I really like it a lot, and I hope you all did as well. If you did, and you have an opportunity to maybe slide over to AO3, try to leave some comments and kudos to the original author. I'm sure it will be much appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.